Improvising well over chord changes can be a major hurdle to overcome on the guitar. In order to do that, we first need to connect our fretboard knowledge with some chord theory. In this episode, I'll show you an exercise that you can use as a starting point to mapping out chord tones to help you know your guitar inside out. Hey there, welcome to Inside Out Guitar. I'm Colin Sapp. With all the work we've been doing getting to know our fretboard in the fretboard mapping videos, we're ready to progress to moving targets, aka chord changes. But if you haven't put in the work on those earlier exercises yet, go through those videos first, as they'll make this exercise much more accessible to you. Let's start off by talking about some basic chord theory. There are 5 basic types of 7th chords that we always see: major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th, minor 7 flat 5, and diminished 7th. By examining these chords' construction, we can memorize the small differences between them, and that's our first objective. Major 7th chords are generated by extracting the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th degrees from a major scale. Dominant 7th chords use those same degrees, except the 7th degree is lowered by a half step. A minor 7th chord is just like a dominant 7th chord, except the 3rd degree is lowered by a half step. A minor 7 flat 5 chord is exactly like a minor 7th chord, except, you guessed it, the 5th degree is lowered by a half step. And a diminished 7th chord is just like a minor 7 flat 5 chord, except the 7th degree is lowered by yet another half step. In the video description, I've provided a link to a free PDF that you can download and use to practice spelling these 5 basic 7th chords in all 12 keys to help you memorize these chord formulas and become quicker at thinking of your chord tones, which is crucial when improvising over changes. So let's see what these look like on the guitar. We can organize chord tones in many different configurations on our fretboard. The most logical way is to align them across 3 strings. When we do this, we'll have to put 2 tones on one string to make all 4 fit. This gives us 3 possible configurations: 1-1-2, 1-2-1, and 2-1-1. Each one of these is usable, so it's up to us to decide which one works best for our hand in a given circumstance. On a 6-string guitar, there are 4 sets of 3-string groupings, so let's label them from highest sounding to lowest. EBG will call Group A. BGD will be Group B. GDA will be Group C. And DAE will be Group D. I've written out all of the different chord tone shapes for each of the 5 basic 7th chord types in a downloadable PDF that you can find a link for in the video description. These worksheets and notated exercises are available for purchase for 99 cents. If you're like me, memorization is much easier with a helpful visual reference. Now let's apply this information to a song with some chord changes in it. Autumn Leaves in the key of G minor has 10 unique chords in it. I've organized a 5-step approach to effectively map out our chord tones for a song on our fretboard. Step 1. Spell each of the chords in the song. Step 2. Map out a plan using shapes from chord tone Group A on our fretboard. Step 3. Map out a plan using shapes from Group B. Step 4. Connect the A and B plans without strict time. Step 5. Connect the A and B plans in time. So let's work through these steps together on Autumn Leaves. The first chord is C minor 7th. Step 1, spell the chord tones: C, E flat, G, B flat. Step 2, find a comfortable fingering for it on our top 3 strings. I'll use the first configuration, 1-1-2. Step 3 is to find a comfortable fingering for it on the next set of 3 strings for that same chord. I'll go with the first shape again. Repeat those steps for the remaining 9 chords of the song: F dominant 7th, B flat major 7th, etc. Step 4 is where we'll explore different ways to connect the A and B plans on our fretboard through the changes of the song, but we'll do it without the pressure of playing them in time. Here's one possible solution. Play through the song several times for step 4 and improvise different ways of connecting your A and B shapes. After you're confident with that step, it's time for step 5, where we do the same thing in time. I like to use a backing track, but you could use a metronome if you prefer. An important point to keep in mind is that this exercise is meant to be played with different chord tone combinations each time. So I'll play through the exercise again, but this time I'll improvise a different combination of chord tone shapes than before. Remember to start slowly and gradually increase the tempo over time to challenge yourself. When you repeat the exercise, strive to find new ways to connect your chord tone shapes across your fretboard. Once you're comfortable with your A and B shapes, move on to mapping your C and D shapes on your other string sets. After that, try to play the chord tones within the shapes in a different order. For example, instead of playing them as 1-3-5-7, try playing them as 3-5-1-7 or 7-3-1-5, etc. There are 24 permutations of those 4 tones, so try to be creative when practicing them. I'll demonstrate one more chorus for you a little faster using different chord tone shapes than before across all string sets using permutations. Alright, now it's your turn to dive in. Carve out some hours to shed these chord tone shapes and apply this exercise as a first step in gaining improvisational command of any song with challenging chord changes. Thanks for watching, happy practicing, and I'll see you next time on Inside Out Guitar.